Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome to Off the Monorails. It is a little bit later than I anticipated. I purposely started 15 minutes later uh, because it's been a busy night. I've been actually working a lot all day today. Took a little bit of a break in the middle of the day, but then went back to work. So I'm glad you guys are here. Um, I am continuing basically what I kind of brought up on Roxy's stream last night with this Disneyland membership offering, because I watched a couple more videos today, and there's one thing that really sticks out to me, and it's the statement, and it was kind of repeated through this this interview with the Disneyland president, that the membership offerings at Disneyland are not designed to be limiting. To limit choice and experience and the whole spontaneity. They're supposed to enhance all of that, and just kind of just all the things related to that, and just how can that how that really could apply to Disney World as well. So we're going to talk about that. I've also been watching WandaVision, which again, and I actually watched Endgame not last night but the night before. We'll get into that a little bit. I know there are some people that are probably like, well, I'm waiting till all the episodes of WandaVision are out, and we'll go briefly into that as well. I've seen some people are just now starting to talk about The Mandalorian, which, if you haven't already seen season 2 of The Mandalorian, you need to see season 2 right away, because it is probably one of the best shows that is on Disney Plus right now. So on that note, again, welcome. So first things first, let's actually start talking about WandaVision. If you haven't seen WandaVision, it's a Marvel show that takes place right after the events. I believe it's right after the events of Endgame. And it has a lot to do with, you find Wanda and Vision, hence WandaVision, in these television sitcom shows. And if you're a fan of TV sitcoms from the 50s and 60s and 70s, there's obvious parodies. Like, I believe the first one is a parody of the Dick Van Dyke Show. The second one is more of a parody of, like, Bewitched. They incorporate themes of Bewitched, whereas the third show, the third episode, does have a a tone of the Brady Bunch in it. And honestly, it starts really slow. So without going too much into detail, because I know a lot of you guys probably have not seen it as of yet, I would just say that kind of wait and maybe binge it once 3 or 4 episodes, because the third episode, the plot really starts to progress. Hello, Wishes. Actually, I want to bring in a guest to kind of talk about that too, about memberships instead of annual passes, because some of the things that I was hearing, like some of the speculation I was hearing, and some of the things that were even in this interview, kind of hints at stuff that Disney World kind of already does. So I don't know if they're going to offer memberships the way that Disney World does, because they're two different fan bases. I've only been to Disneyland twice. But it was clear and obvious to me that when I was at Disney World or Disneyland, excuse me, it was clearly majority locals. There were some visitors there, but you had a lot of locals that were there. Um, and I've mentioned this before a few times where I truly believe that the design of whatever this membership's going to be, or the design of whatever the membership program is going to be like, it is going to be um, limiting. And I said that even before this, before the interview came out, where he said, "Oh, I'm not going to discuss stuff, but I'm going to discuss." He went ahead and the president went ahead and discussed it. And then, again, the things that he was mentioning about the fact that it's not supposed to be limiting in scope, it's going to be limiting. Like that was clear to me. That's like, yeah, I'm going to limit. Hello, Lori. How are ya? Glad you can make it. So, I mean, Disney World has all these different annual pass holder levels. Disneyland had the same thing, but there was rumors from WDWNT saying that, oh yeah, they were going to nix a lot of the pass holder levels anyways, and just have a platinum level and the flex level that they had there. So, I think there's going to be a lot more opportunities for that flex level. I think they're going to base it off of that, where you make a reservation and you might have only like 15 days. A lot of stuff also kind of reminded me of some of what they're thinking with reminding me of Six Flags and the way that they do their annual passes and memberships, because they do have a membership thing where it's a monthly sustaining price, and you instead of paying all at once, you pay a little by little each month. Which, again, if you're a local, I think you can do that anyway. But again, you had varying levels of discounts. I've read people talk about surveys and just how you might have an option for reduced parking or free parking included with passes, or you pay extra for that. There would still be some areas with blackout dates, friends and family discounts. So, like some passes, you might get to bring a friend for free, or bring a friend for 50% off on a visit from January 3rd to January 5th, which, again, that's right out of Six Flags playbook. There was something else that really stood out to me. I can't remember it now, but there's definitely been surveys sent out to Disneyland pass holders about this, and just some of the other things about how the Disneyland president was discussing and describing really talking about how some people utilize the pass only during the weekdays, or only during the weekends, or they only go in the evenings or mornings and afternoons, so they can choose the time of day that they can use their pass. Which I really thought that was kind of interesting too. It's like, well, first of all, if you have a morning afternoon pass, how are they going to monitor? Are they going to monitor that once they're in the park? You're in the park, but like that whole evenings pass, they do that with Epcot in Florida, where they have an annual pass. There's strictly Epcot after 4 p.m. And that is the pass. So, yeah, here's the big reason why I think Disney World might do that, is because they want to be on the same pace as Disney or Disneyland, and they want to make more money. That's it. So you have these higher tier annual passes, but you charge more for that unlimited visits. Whereas I could see Disney actually saying, okay, you might get 30 visits a year, 15 visits a year, and it might be more of like a ticket book. I could see Disney World doing that, but it goes back to what I was saying before about the crowds. The membership system, the reason why this is even a thing in Disneyland is because they had millions of pass holders, and Disneyland's capacity is not in the millions. By far not in the millions. So I think they wouldn't be making money because they'd have to they would feel like they'd have to accommodate the pass holders first. That's what sustains their business, but there would be no room for a 1 day or 2 day ticket holder or a visitor to visit. It would be very, very, very limited, especially with the park capacity limits that are probably going to be in place when Disneyland reopens. But it's by canceling those annual passes and putting a new system in place, it controls the amount of people in the park. And I think that's the big reason why they want to control the amount of people in the park. Whereas Disney World, it's more of a vacation spot. Yeah, you get local people coming in, but even some of the pass holders, the annual pass holders, a lot of them do not live in Florida. They live out of state and they make regular trips to Walt Disney World, maybe 3 or 4 times a year. Sometimes it's a weekend visit, sometimes it's more of an extended stay. So they're using their annual pass, but they're also staying at a resort. And they're buying the food. So they're on vacation. They're using the annual pass for vacation, for trips. So I can see Disney World kind of staying with the current annual pass holder situation. I think right now they're not selling new ones because I think they have an adequate supply and they know that people are canceling. I think it's a possibility that when they restart selling annual passes, that not all the options are going to be there. I think there was a water park only annual pass at Walt Disney World. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think that's going to go forward. I think that might just be put into as maybe just an add-on. If you just want to water parks, you have to get a certain level. That might just be included. I don't think, and I don't see them really putting as many annual passes out there because there are a few different levels and a few different options, and I think they might want to streamline and simplify it. So those are kind of my thoughts on that. I do have a couple more thoughts, but yeah, that's just what's coming to my mind right now. So yeah, the other thing, so we talked about WandaVision. We talked about my thoughts on the annual pass holder program. I'm excited. Hello, Melanie. How are you? I'm really excited that the People Mover, again, it's up. It's being tested. The queue has been the People Mover queue has been restored to the People Mover instead of being Astro Orbiter, which again we talked about that last night. Which again, by all means, I think in like 6 days or so, it's going to be open. Yeah, I think. I think if you're a dire Disney fan, especially if we're talking about Disneyland here, there are some people like, well, it's Disneyland, we're going to do it. Going back on this subject here, but for the people like, again, I'm watching another video. This was Provost Park Pass, and if you watch one of his latest videos, he talks about his speculation. That's where one of the videos that I think it's a great video to watch. He talks about for the first like 2 minutes, word for word, just what the statement says, and then his thinkings on what this really means for Disneyland, and just kind of reading his comments. A lot of the Disney diehards are not happy with the memberships. I can tell you that because he mentions that he was a a resident of Southern California before moving out of state. And that a lot of Southern Californians in general, it's not like they don't plan on going to Disney. Okay. They just go. Oh, it's a sunny day. Like it's 70 degrees. Let's go to Disneyland. I'm bored. Let's go to Disneyland. That's what they do. It's like going to the mall for a lot of these people. And so a lot of them are worried that these membership program, these new offerings are going to limit that spontaneity. Like that spontaneity is going to go away. You have to schedule your visit, which could that be just for COVID? It could be. Could that be sustaining post-COVID? It might be, but I could see Disneyland taking a big attendance dive because pass holders are the lifeblood of that park. They really, really are. When I was there, it was the first time I was there. I was wearing a Cubs shirt. I was like, I looked like a tourist. I definitely did not look like a local. And the PhotoPass photographer from the castle was like, "Oh, where are you guys? Oh, you're a tourist. Where are you guys from? We're from Chicago." And she made a comment like, "Oh, there's been a lot of people from Chicago." I'm like, "Yeah, it's cold there. Like, we need to get away." It's like we're here because of family reasons, but she was struck by the amount of people that were there vacationing, especially from our part of the country, where 2 hours we're closer to Disney World, obviously, than Disneyland. But there was a struck where it's like, oh, I've noticed a lot more tourists than usual this weekend or so. And a lot of like their overlays are not done to get tourists to come. It's to get the locals into the park during slow seasons and to kind of enhance and make Christmas more magical at the parks, I should say. So the fact that you're telling Southern Californians, oh, we can't just ditch school for a day, which some of them do. Just say, okay, let's go to Disneyland. We'll call out sick. I've known a couple that have done that. Hello, Cargo. How are you? To lose that spontaneity, to lose that flexibility, and lose the amount of times that you can go, that unlimited. I know. I did this for Aaron because the Buccaneers did win their football game, which we'll talk about in a second. So it's a pirate goofy, yep. But these membership, I am doing well. Thank you for asking. The membership opportunities that they're going to have, they're not. I don't think they're going to be popular. I think they're a necessity at this point. And I can understand that because the governor of California is not, and the California Department of Public Health, or I think however they call it, they're not going to, I don't think they're going to be very flexible on their rules. It's going to be, there are going to be people that are going to buy those memberships. I'm sure if Mel lived in Southern California, she'd be buying that membership opportunity right away and just maxing it out. And there are going to be people that are going to be doing it, whether you're a live streamer, a blogger, just a Disney fan or whatever. But a lot of the locals, they're not going to be happy. And I don't think it's going to sustain the department of whatever. Yep. It's not going to be sustainable. For that reason alone, it's not going to be sustainable because it's like, I think when we think of Disney, we think of Disney World and how it's a vacation kingdom. It was originally called the Vacation Kingdom. You're there for your vacation. Whereas California, the people that are coming, again, it's either locals, so it's like a Six Flags or a Cedar Point type theme park where you just decide to show up. Like I've had Six Flags annual passes for a few years on and off, depending if they have a new roller coaster or not. And if the new offering is something exciting. If it's a water park thing, I kind of say no. If it's a roller coaster, I'm like, okay, I'm in. If it's a flat ride, I'll look to see what the flat ride is. But usually the flat rides are not kind of. I usually go for just the roller coasters day. But if it's a good day, I'm like, oh, the weather's nice. I have the day off, um, or I just really want to ride a roller coaster. I would drive the 45 minutes north or so and go to Six Flags. It was spontaneity. It really was spontaneity, and that's how locals view. Like it was a lot of times I made trips because it was out of boredom, not because we planned a day. It's just like I have nothing else better to do. We have nothing to do. Our plans got canceled or whatever. Let's go. Let's go. Let's turn this day around. And that's how Disneyland is viewed. I know Disneyland wants to try to shift away from a local park, by building that second park, right? California Adventure, adding, and they made sure that there was a hotel built with that second park, the Grand California. They acquired the Paradise Pier Hotel from, I believe it was a Japanese firm that they acquired it from. So they acquired the Paradise Pier Hotel to kind of bolster the fact that this is a resort. And of course, you had the Disneyland Hotel, which now they're adding on to that with a DVC wing. Again, DVC is vacation. They're going to build a fourth hotel, which I believe is going to have a DVC wing, or was going to be a pure DVC hotel. I don't remember 100% exactly, but they're trying to build this into a third or into a resort destination. They even changed the logo from Disneyland Park to Disneyland Resort, and they kind of separate that Disneyland logo, the theme park logo, with the resort logo, and it made it a modern. It was really unpopular. They changed back like within a year or so, but they changed the logo to try to make this as vacation destination. If you're staying at one of the Disney hotels in California, you get a lanyard and a pin, or voucher for a lanyard and a pin, which you can redeem inside the theme park for that, and it varies from whatever season it is. But they have these amenities to try to attract people to stay there. And downtown Disney, again, that little shopping mall, it's partially to try to get bolster that it's a resort destination. You do some shopping and dining. You don't have to leave property. So they're trying to build and make it into a resort destination. Hello, Samantha. How are you? Glad you're on stream. They're trying to bolster this idea to make a resort, but I think it needs to be larger. I think there probably needs to be a third theme park in order to really play up this idea that yes, it's going to be a resort destination. Because yes, you have two theme parks, but it's still a local. They're kind of right next to each other, and in a way, if you have an annual pass, they function as one unit. So, and really, you don't really see it as kind of a destination. Do they have the space for a third theme park? They would have to eliminate, I think, a parking lot, take over. I think the logical place would be the Toy Story parking lot that they have there, which I've parked in, and kind of build up a garage in another spot to kind of absorb that parking, or at least buy some more land. But that's going to be a tough sell because you have apartments and homes around there. So they're very limited in scope. So that could also be into play of why they're limiting the annual passes to try to maybe bolster that this is a vacation destination, not just a local park. But I don't know. I don't think that will happen anytime soon. All those things. Those are like the third theme park is just speculation. It's not going to happen anytime soon. Which actually, this is something I've actually really, really, really wanted to talk about. It's Universal. Dun dun dun. I know I mentioned Universal on a Disney stream here, but I think with this epic universe that's going to be built in Orlando, I believe it's still a go to open in 2023. I know that there's going to be a Super Mario theme land. It was confirmed by Nintendo that Super Mario is coming to Orlando as well. And just kind of the whole interactiveness of a land based on video games. Some of the rides are just one of the rides is clearly geared for the little ones. This Yoshi Adventure ride that I've seen parts of. I haven't seen the whole entire thing. But you have these interactive activities with, they look a lot like the slap version of the Magic Bands. And you could defeat the Mario villains, Bowser Jr., and you can get power-ups and coins and complete activities so that you could fight Bowser Jr., which looked really cool. You can actually punch blocks, which for me, it's like you're actually going to be playing Super Mario live. That's basically what you're doing. And then you have a whole Mario Kart ride, which is going to be an augmented reality game, because everything's kind of on a lockdown. I don't know what that ride's going to be like. As soon as that lockdown is lifted, I'm going to be watching it on YouTube to see what it's like, because this could be a game changer. Right now, Universal's like, oh, you got Harry Potter. And that's been pretty much the draw to Universal is Harry Potter. So if you're a big Harry Potter fan, you're going. And you got a couple like roller coasters and stuff. I mean, when your newest rides, at least in Florida, is the Tonight Show ride, that's not really that good. But this third theme park having like the monsters of Universal, of the Universal Studios, Universal Pictures. I forget I don't know if there's gonna be like a third Harry Potter tie-in. There may or may not be. I forget. But there's that Super Mario World, or Super Nintendo World, I think is what they're calling it, is going to be put into that theme park as well. And honestly, I would leave Disney for a day or so. So hearing that Disney's kind of like, okay, we're putting the kibosh on some of these rides, some of these attractions, like the Mary Poppins attraction. Obviously, the Play Pavilion's still listed, but we're not hearing what's going on inside. If it's supposed to be interactive, I don't know what's like. You're gonna have to change a lot if it's going to be interactive, and they're scaling back a lot of the projects that are a go and they haven't really built yet, like the Festival Center. They've stopped Magical Express starting in 2022. No more Magical Express. The extra magic hours are gone. It's extra 30 minutes across all theme parks, so you don't have to worry about the day, but it's pretty much you get in line first before standard guests, but is that really an advantage per se? It's the things that they're doing and they're cutting right now. They're starting to bring back shows, Festival Lion King, which is awesome. But just with a lot of the things that they're stopping to do, like the whole free Magic Band, I think, yes, they're trying to get everyone to use their phone, but at the same time, the Magic Band I think was cool, and it's just I didn't have to pull out my phone for everything. I could check for the fast passes, but for me, it saved money on like batteries. Like it can make more money like on whatchamacallit, the fuel rods. But like the fact that they're, again, going back to the fact that they're limiting attractions and they're canceling projects. And Universal did not cancel Epic Universe. They're still going on with that. 30 minutes would be like 2 rides. Okay, See, I've been talking so much that I don't even know what that was for. But welcome back, Mel. Um, but just the fact that for me, a big Disney fan, going like, "Oh, look at Super Mario World," and kind of seeing Nintendo show off Super Mario World or Super Nintendo World, and be like, "That looks fun." That gives me a really good reason. I'm not a Harry Potter fan. Of course, you have the Marvel universe, but it's like, okay, some of the like none of the other rides really appeal to me. But now you got that little dangling fruit, like, come over here. Like, this looks interesting. This could get me to go to Universal. Um, and the fact that now you're going to have to rely on a rental car. So now you have to pay for a rental car. If you're, excuse me, staying on property, the prices for each resort have gone up. You have to now pay for a rental. Sorry, next year you have to pay for a rental car. Oh yes, exactly, Mel. 30 minutes will be like two. It's nothing. It really is nothing. Like, you have to get up early, and um, for a person like me, getting up 30 minutes early, like, I like to close the park, and I'm not a morning person. So like, for me, it's like, oh, we have to get there for rope drop, or for that extra 30 minutes starts at 8:30. Okay. When the park opens at 9, you're getting there at 8:30. That's usually when I'm getting on the bus. If I like whatever time we plan to get there, that's when we're leaving for the park. So we would never take advantage for that. Yeah, and it's just, again, the perks are not there. And going back to the whole rental car thing, not only do you have to pay for a rental car, but you have the $25 per day, or however much his parking will be, because they could raise that at a snap of a finger. So no, you don't have to. You have to. You have to focus on that. You have to plan that in your budget as well. And so, the amount of money you have to spend for either transportation to and from your resort, and any fees associated with that, that's money that's being taken out of the Disney budget. Whether it's your favorite restaurant, or experience, like, for instance, I still have this on my kitchen table, or my dining room table. Build a droid. Build a droid, or rent a car and get to the theme park. I'm sorry, but this might go away. Or instead of one droid per kid, it's one droid for the entire family. Which, by the way, do you guys like the color combination? Before the trip, I really planned out like what I wanted. I knew I wanted a BB-8 or a BB style droid. So this was something definitely I wanted to do. Then I thought, should I do monochromatic? So they're all purple, or it's my son. They're all purple, or should I mix the colors? Because not a lot of people, at least with the BB series, they don't mix the colors. And it's you have to be careful, because I don't think a lot of people think that the colors are gonna necessarily go together. But I chose purple and orange. Purple does have a special meaning, so I knew I wanted to be at least partially purple. The orange I thought just went well with the purple, in all honesty. So hopefully I chose a good color combination. I like it, but I agonized days for this, and by days I mean weeks, for the selection. I know I want to make another droid. I know the other droid is going to be an R series. An R series, you really can customize the colors a little bit more with that. And it's very much more customizable than the BB droid. The BB droid, there's less accessory. Like the R series droid, you can put decals on it. There's a lot more different color, like I said, different color choices and different options for the BB or for the R droids and the BB droids. BB droids, you basically, if I open this up, you're basically choosing if you want the same color, both blue, both red, or one of each, or color colors. I believe there's also a gray version of this, so you can mix and match. The personality chip is not included. If you get the package, which I did, you get a personality chip. You don't mix and match the top and the bottom. These all come together as one. So you can choose the top part. You get to choose the actual shell. Actually, I didn't match this up properly. There we go. You can choose the shell. This is the actual shell. And then I believe this and the top part and this part are separate as well. I know the tongue's kind of a little bit mixed up here. But this is separate from the actual shell. So like these are your options, but there's no decals that go with it. I'm just trying to find the magnet. That's with it. Oh, there we go. And swirls like that. Okay. The shell, that's really pretty much it. There's no decals that go with it. Pretty much the only customizable thing is that personality chip that you can buy. Either come with the package and the fancy backpack, which I have right over here. This is really why I wanted the packages for the backpack, rather than the cardboard box. Because A, I thought the cardboard box kind of looked a little bit crappy, and B, the day we went it was really rainy, so I thought this would be a little bit better. And then you also have the backpack comes with the window, and there's one backpack, so this is actually good for both droids. They fit in a little bit differently with the way that it's in there. There's a little hidden pocket, so if you get more than one personality chip, you can put the personality chip in the back right there. Got the chain. This is exclusively for the BB droids because the head is not attached. So they keep this in here so that the head stays put. So it doesn't lose its head and doesn't fall off of the droid. But so honestly, if you're planning on getting another droid, if you already have one and you're like, oh, well, I need the BB series, you can either get it, like you don't have to get two backpacks for it. You can just use the first one or one for both. So if I go back, I might be bringing just this along, building the R droid, putting it in here. Again, I have another idea of two personality chips, so one can have one personality chip, the other one can have the other. You don't need a personality chip, if you don't want to. It'll just be a standard droid. But going back on topic, I just think Disney should be on notice because Universal is trying to step up their game, and they're always trying to step up their game. And I think Disney's settling too much, and they're trying to protect their shares and their stockholders. They're not thinking about the guests. Whereas Universal, yeah, they have that aspect, but they're trying to attract people, and so they're trying to think of new properties, to get people to go to the theme parks. Okay. Anyway, this comes included, like the bottom one, the down, or sorry, is it the up button? Yeah, the up button's kind of a little bit weak. You can still press, it still works, but it's not as like springy as the bottom one. It came that way, which I'm mad. But you can use. There's actually a phone app that can do a little bit more stuff than this. So if you have like an iPhone, there's an Astromech Droid app that you can use as well. Maybe I'll make a video with this because you can play a couple games. It's actually, the app's really interactive if you're not at Disney World. So yeah, I'm just kind of worried for the future of Disney. Let's just say that. All right, I've been on for 39 minutes. So Aaron, if you're watching, I put on my goofy, or these are my brother's ears. I'll admit these are my brother's ears. The Buccaneer Pirate Goofy ears because the Buccaneers did win. I'm not really I am a fan. I do like Tampa Bay. Like my grandparents Lived in Tampa for pretty much all my life, except for like the first few months, the Tampa area. So I do have a Tampa. It does have a place in my heart. Not really a big Tom Brady fan, but it is what it is. And Tampa is actually going to be the first team to play a Super Bowl in their home stadium, which has never happened in the whole 55 years of the Super Bowl. So that's going to be interesting to see because there's going to be a real tilt in the crowd, one way or another. And then hello wishes again, welcome back. Whether it's going to be the Bills or I think it's probably going to be the Chiefs, depending on what the score is at the end. That'll be an interesting matchup in the Super Bowl. Either way. So this is my I have the goofy pirate ears, which they're old. I think on one stream I kind of looked inside to see what the copyright date was. This has got to be like mid 2000s. This is definitely mid 2000s. I forgot when. Just as copyright Disney, but it's so old it doesn't have an FAC number. Let's just say that. There is like a little number at the bottom here, but it's not. This is pre-FAC, the FAC number that they use for all of their products. Yeah, it's going to be a good matchup. So I have run out of things to talk about for today. Hopefully there will be more news coming up in the next week or so related to Disney. Hopefully it's good news. Oh, I know one more thing I wanted to talk about before we go. On my next stream, we'll do another edition of the Kick It or Keep It. I might modify it a little bit where I'm going to put Disney places next to each other, head to head. One is kicked, one is kept. So if you have an idea of should it be rides, should we stick with restaurants, should we do hotels? Please let me know in the comments or in chat if you're watching this live. What would be a good thing? And if you have a good matchup, it doesn't have to be Disney theme parks related. It could be movies too, or characters. Rides or resorts. We can do rides or resorts. We'll put the resorts head to head and see which one gets kicked, which one's kept. I think that's a good idea. Let's just take a little planning so I can do the little name here. Now, if you notice that today I didn't put Not That Matterhorn Matt. I put my Instagram handle at Not That Matt WDW right there. I haven't been posting a little bit. Again, it's been a really busy week for me today. So go ahead. If you haven't followed me on Instagram, I recently got 100 Instagram followers. So I'm excited about that as well. I do have plenty of Disney pics from over the years. So there's going to be a lot more retro, hopefully. In the near future, I can add to those posts. So add to those posts as well. But I haven't actually posted any of my ride photos from July. So you're gonna be seeing a lot more of those. I'll put them onto my phone, and then upload them to Instagram. Yeah. All right. Good night wishes. Yeah, we're gonna get we have a winter storm warning for our area right now, and it's gonna dump a lot of snow. I'm not happy about that whatsoever. I think the last time we checked was supposed to be like a half a foot of snow or something. But the last thing I wanted to talk about is the demolition of the Polynesian station. I think, yeah, I mean, I like snow. Call me crazy. You might call me crazy, wishes, but I do like snow. Um, I just don't like it when it's a half a foot of snow. I do like my snow in moderation. Um, like if it's an inch or so, it's like a dusting. I'm good with that. But I have a feeling that I'm gonna be wearing earplugs Monday night, because of the plows, uh, that are gonna be up and down my street. It's pretty noisy. But back to the monorail station. Um, I didn't. Now again, we discussed this last night on Life with Roxana, and or I think it's part of my world. But that I was shocked to see that the entire station was being torn down. That I knew it was going to have a new design, so they're tearing down the walls. I'm like, okay, they're tearing down the walls. They're putting up the new ones based on the concept art. Um, but Aaron said, based on his interactions with his friends that were monorail pilots, they couldn't do evacuations. They basically condemned the express side of the Polynesian resort. So express means you go for that segment. I believe the express goes. You're coming from the Magic Kingdom on that point. From the Magic Kingdom, yeah, from the Magic Kingdom. So the express side, it goes Magic Kingdom, Grand Floridian, Polynesian, Transportation Ticket Center, Contemporary, and circles on back. Whereas the resort, when it starts at the Magic Kingdom, it goes to Contemporary first. But so if for any reason there was a problem with the monorail, and monorail stopped, you couldn't use that platform because the platform apparently was condemned. So it makes more sense that now they're tearing it and rebuilding from scratch. Even the walkway from the sliding doors. Right now, you have sliding doors, and they open to nothing, which looks. It kind of reminds me of was that the Winchester House. I've seen pictures of Winchester where they have doors to nowhere and staircases to nowhere. So right now you have sliding doors. When you open up, you better look down before you move out, so to speak. Obviously they probably secured and locked, so that no one makes that mistake. But it's interesting that they're building it. Basically, they just have a little metal frame towards the structure to keep it all handy. And that the construction crews broke a water main, and basically shut down the whole ceremonial house except for Pineapple Lanai. So none of the restaurants, none of the bathrooms were working. It was just the Pineapple Lanai that was open, which again, in order to make Dole Whip, you need water. So for the soft serve, at least for the soft serve machine, unless the mix doesn't involve water, maybe it's just plugged in. I think you need water to wash your hands, though. I don't know, but I'm excited that they're actually, for that reason, that they're redoing the monorail station. Which that actually gets. I keep saying one more thing, but this actually is a good a point that I've made before, where Budget Cut Bob really has been emphasizing intellectual property. And now you're hearing that they're hearing that they're going to put Moana everywhere in the Polynesian Village Resort, excuse me. Was the Polynesian Village Resort when it opened. Then right around the 90s, they dropped the village part and went just Polynesian, because people just call it either the Poly or the Polynesian. They don't call it Polynesian Village. But then recently they restored the village part of it. While I agree that the lobby probably needed to be updated, because it definitely was showing the signs of it that it was designed in the late 60s. There are people that you're trying to attract, and this goes back to that you want to bring in and keep people coming in. Intellectual property can only go so far. there are some properties like Snow White that they obviously felt good enough to build a Snow White ride, roller coaster, mine train roller coaster, and replace Snow White's Scary Adventures. I think there are some intellectual properties that have staying power and they're going to last for a really, really, really long time. Princesses, Toy Story, I think, is going to have a lot of staying power for at least a little while, but eventually IP tends to fade away. There will become a time when intellectual property, I'm sorry, I'm kind of like hammering down my computer. That's why it's shaking a little bit, but where the intellectual property kind of fades and becomes unpopular, that they're either going to have to replace it. And so with hotels, there's a reason why certain people do not stay at the All Stars or Pop Century or Art of Animation. Because well, it's because not so much sports and music. There is some a little bit of IP in there, but not a lot. It's more you get that corny, giant figurines. I'm really talking more about movies. Pop Century, again, Pop Century maybe doesn't really have a lot of IP in there too. But it's like Art of Animation, definitely. All-Star Movies, definitely, where you have a lot of IP thrown at you. And yeah, people are like, oh look, there's Mickey Mouse on the carpet, or there's like little Mickey Mouse there, but you don't want every single cartoon character to be thrown at you, or it doesn't have to be a cartoon character, it just has to be a Disney character thrown at you every single hour of every single day. Some people see that refuge and see their hotel as a refuge. Like if you go to the beach club, yeah, there's a statue of Ariel in front of the beach club DVC entrance. You do have hidden Mickeys, but you walk the resort. There's not very much. There's little to no IP in there, which isn't, for me, it's a nice refresher from being in the theme parks. The rugs that are now in the beach club, or excuse me, the yacht club, they're obviously like ocean swirls in the shape of Mickey Mouse. They're more contemporary feel to that. But the fact that they have all they're like, now you have Pirates rooms in Caribbean, the mosaics in the Riviera, they're Disney movie themed. Trying to add as many characters as possible, it's going to turn off some people, especially people that are be like, well, why are we staying here? Look at the pool. The pool has Mickey Mouse on it. At the boardwalk, although it did replace Scary Clown Face, which a lot of people are happy about, but it's just how much can you take? And there are people, I'm not one of them, although I'm not one of them to an extent. Where if you're trying to get that one family member to sign on to the vacation at Disney, like, well, we're staying at this one. There's a giant Dalmatian, and now we're going to the theme park where it's just every character is being thrown down your throat. It's going to be a turnoff to some people. So yeah, there are some people that are all for putting as much Disney characters in the hotels and adding a little bit. But for me, personally, when I get to the room, first of all, do I really care that there's Mickey Mouse on or whatever? Not really, because my head's usually hitting the pillow and we're out like a light. But it's nice to kind of take a break and relax and just immerse yourself into what that theme is. Like Animal Kingdom Lodge, for instance, you have animals you're overlooking animals if you have a Savannah View room, and you're immersing in that. It's not about the IP, it's about the animals. Beach Club, again, it's a luxury hotel. You're paying for basically the fact that you're next to Epcot. You can take a boat or the Skyliner to Hollywood Studios. They don't really publish that, they don't publish the beach club as a Skyline resort, but honestly, it's a Skyline resort for all intents and purposes. You can use that. You have the acts there in the middle of two different theme parks. You have these world-class restaurants. You're paying for that. Do you want to see a lot of Little Mermaid everywhere, which they might be doing? You never know. Probably not. And it's a lot. I think that crowd at the beach club and the yacht club, Swan and Dolphin Boardwalk might tend to skew a little bit older. So I think they need to be conscious of why people are staying at the resorts right now. And again, that IP comes and goes, and that popularity fluctuates. And what could be considered a good character now, although might not be a good character in the future. Although the example that I'm going to bring up, I don't think was when this ride was built. It really was a controversial thing then. And that ride, of course, is Splash Mountain, right? Splash Mountain they built based on Song of the South, which is a very controversial movie, deals with the pre-Civil War South and just a lot of questionable stereotypes that are in the movie, and just how I believe, I don't want to even quote, but it's let's just leave it at it's controversial. It was controversial back in the 80s, and for years and years and years, people have been trying to get Disney to change the theme of Splash Mountain, which they are going to. And so what may seem like a good idea now might not be a good idea in 10, 15 years. And so kind of generalizing it, you get the people that might be hesitant, like, well, look at the hotel. The hotel is not really all that Disney. And there's still options like Coronado Springs. Like, it's probably the least Disney hotel that Disney has on property. It is more for the business traveler. It is kind of it's closest to the animal kingdom. It's more Spanish thing. Like, it's really catering to business travelers. And more of an adult hotel. I believe I think I was watching, was it AJ from Disney Food Blog, saying that it's the most deluxe hotel you can get in the moderate category. So it's a deluxe hotel for maybe a little slightly more than moderate prices, but definitely less than a deluxe resort. And just it's big. But yeah, I'm rambling now. So I hopefully maybe a Disney exec popped in for a second or two and kind of listened to what I was saying. But I'm just there's definitely an old guard and a new guard, and they're trying to change based on what they think kids would do. Because if you hook the kids, they're going to be hooked as adults, and based on their preferences. But at the same time, right now, for me, the Disney World of the 90s and Disney World of today are two totally different places, and it's not. I'm going to end with this. It's not the Disney World I fell in love with. And I think I'm not the only one that agrees with that. Where growing up, I could definitely see that there are rides for everybody, for all different level, all different thrills. That's what you have Rock and Roller Coaster. That's definitely a thrill ride, not a family coaster. That is a coaster aimed more towards for adults. Tower of Terror, a thrill ride. Again, scary thrill ride. It's not for kids, not for little kids. It's for adults and trying to attract more teens and adults to it. Extraterrestrial Encounter. I could tell that ride wasn't for me because it had terror in the title. But it's definitely an adult, or again, teens and adult theme right in the Magic Kingdom. And they're trying to attract everybody. Again, rides don't have to be for everybody. They don't have to be for everybody. I think, in my opinion, a good theme park has rides that hit different age groups. There's going to be a core that is good for almost all age groups, But there are going to be certain rides that, yeah, either you really love it because you just like looking at all the dolls. It's a Small World. So that's going to be for little kids and a certain group. They just like the ride. But there is going to be a certain aspect that like hell, I'm going on that. There's a lot of people that don't like Space Mountain because it's a roller coaster, or Thunder Mountain for the exact same reason. So they'll stay away from those. You don't have, like, I think they're trying to have rides fit, all these rides and shows be for everybody. But I don't know. I don't think it has to be that way. I think you definitely have some rides that are targeted for certain age groups, and that's okay. The ride doesn't have to the ride doesn't have to be, could a kid ride this? I think that might be the reason why some of these ride extraterrestrial encounters turned into sketch, because they were getting little kids riding this ride. They didn't really put an age restriction on it, but I think they could have said recommended for kids over the age of blah. But I think things that kind of go outside of the box of what you think Disney would be, this is where I was going with this, would be okay. And rides that stand the test of time, that are vague, that don't use intellectual property, that are original rides like Expedition Everest, that's going to be there for a while. For sure. It's a Yeti. It's not really tied into a movie. Yetis have been within our culture. For Americans, it's more of like Sasquatch, but there are these Yeti, Sasquatch myths. Obama snow people or snowmen. They've been in our human storytelling for generations and generations. That's not going to go away because it's not movie specific. Again, Haunted Mansion, an original idea. And this whole haunted house thing, again, that's going to have staying power. And then they continue on for generations and generations. Yeah, do you tweak those rides over time? Yeah. Look at the Haunted Mansion. They added the portraits they moved around, like the eye portraits were originally in the first hallway in between the stretching, or in between the loading room and the library. So those portraits were moved to the loading area, and they put the Disneyland changing lightning portraits in that hallway. They took away the spider that was in where the stairwells, the ghost stairs are now, the MC Escher-esque stairs. Cassandra, I think Constance, excuse me, Constance, my bad. Constance, wasn't the first bride in that scene. They updated that bride. They added that in Disneyland, they put the Hatbox Ghost in. Original feature that was taken out after a couple of days after the effect didn't work. They put an overlay, Haunted Mansion Holiday, Nightmare Before Christmas overlay in California. So there are tweaks. There are definitely tweaks to these rides that you can make over the years. I mean, Disneyland, again, Space Mountain, they tweak it. They've updated it a few times, and they put overlays on it. They make it fresh. Although some of the overlays, when there's a Star Wars overlay, which is IP, but there's also a Ghost Galaxy overlay for Halloween, which is, again, not intellectual property, an original idea. And that can really have staying power. So, and that's why some people fall in love with the theme parks, because those are original ideas that they haven't seen before. Yes, people more and more want to ride the rides, but when you have an original idea, that's what I think Disney was best at. And I don't know if we're going to see that anytime soon. On that note, I've been talking for over an hour. Thank you guys for watching. I'll be on again next week at around 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 Eastern. We're gonna play another game of Kick It or Keep It. It will be we're gonna put your favorite. I think it's gonna be resorts. We're gonna put some of your favorite resorts head to head. There's gonna be a rhyme or reason to them. We're gonna try to keep them basically like the same category. I think there'll be some ones that are like, oh, why do you put this one with that one? And maybe I'll explain my choices, but there's gonna be some, I think, some easy ones, but the matches I'm thinking in my head, and there's gonna be some tough ones. There's always some tough ones when you have to. I mean, it's like choosing between your kids. You can't choose between one kid or the other, right? There's gonna be some of those types of choices. So stick around next week. We're definitely gonna do that. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in infinity and beyond. All right, bye-bye, everybody.